views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in the cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Allison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to another night of RAP Paranormal and Friends. We are welcoming back Tyler Transue from Dockside Media. Welcome back!
Woo! Allison, it is great to be here for the people not seeing my expression and antics. Dude, I'm pumped. I'm floored. Thank you so much for having us back.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm super excited. You bring a lot of energy, and that's what we like to have on the show. So... But
I'm with my peoples.
That's all right. That's all right. So recently you just had a new documentary drop, Secrets of the Sasquatch, on July 5th, and I watched it. I watched it a couple times, loved it just as much as I loved your other one, the Contact Full Disclosure. What's
Conscious Contact Full Disclosure.
I always forget what the first word is in that one. I remember the rest, and I talk about it on the other show. I told our last guest, I'm like, hey, you need to check it out. So...
Oh, you rock so much. But so Secrets of the Sasquatch,
yes.
You loved it as much, more so?
Yes, I did. It was very well put together, very well done. I liked how you guys had several people on there talking about their different interactions and different views on Sasquatch. It was very awesome. So before we get into too much of the documentary, what struck your interest in doing a documentary on Sasquatch?
Well, so Dockside Media, we're just focused on making interesting, informative, entertaining, and thought-provoking paranormal documentaries. And so the first one was Conscious Contact Full Disclosure, about aliens, UFOs, telepathy, consciousness, and experiencers and people. It's a great doc if you're into that type of thing. And then we had the second doc was The Ghosts of Gettysburg, which we did a haunted camp out. We got great B-roll footage on the battlefield of Gettysburg, interviewed a bunch of experiencers, like a journalist, an investigator, and had a medium. We did a seance and all this stuff. It was great. And then, so Secrets of the Sasquatch. I guess the long and short of it is when I interviewed Sue Walker, who's a medical intuitive and telepath and clairvoyant, who's talking with the Ponte extraterrestrials out in the San Diego Mountains. But when I interviewed her for Conscious Contact Full Disclosure, I think after the interview, somehow she had mentioned about Sasquatch being interdimensional. And so she planted that seed in my head. And it was probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I was driving down to the beach And it just kind of came to me, an epiphany or divine inspiration or whatever you want to call it. But I was like, Secrets of the Sasquatch. And I messaged Chris. I'm like, bro, what do you think? And I was like, we can get her. And we set up a bunch of campouts in Western Pennsylvania, Northeastern Pennsylvania, talked to experiencers that had a bunch of experiences in West Virginia, and then also flew out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Interviewed Sue Walker for this again, and then also Alfred Martinez.
Right. Yeah.
And but so it was one of those things where it just kind of came to me. It seemed natural in like the progression of our documentaries. Just we don't want to keep just doing UFO or just ghost, or we want to just, we'll get back to those, but we want to keep mixing up and just get people thinking about all these interesting things. And it was cool. Chris was on board, and man, we didn't waste any time. We started making like social media posts, putting call outs for people in different Sasquatch and Bigfoot groups. And, the thing just materialized on its own. And it was, it was a lot of fun to make, and just really cool. Like all the people that I got to speak with in an interview.
Yes. Now, was it Martinez that was the one that was talking about the, how they use like cave systems?
Yes.
Yes, which I found very interesting, because you think of this large thing making tunnels in the ground to get away, but then you also have it to where Sue Walker talks about how, they are interdimensional, and that sometimes you may see kind of through them because they're kind of going in between these dimensions. So I found that very, very unique in how everybody has, their different ideas or perspectives, and maybe they do it all. I don't know.
I think that's what's interesting about the documentary, is that we got a good varying degree of experiencers. So I think it's unique in that some of the things you mentioned, right? If people watch a lot of Bigfoot or Sasquatch content or documentaries, there's some new and interesting information that they can take with them, and then it gets to bounce around in their brain, and they become a little bit more well-rounded and open-minded, and they can believe what they like. But I love all these different interesting perspectives from these genuine people, and it was great, and just kind of destiny or fate that while we're making this doc and we have all these campouts, we have all these people interviewed, and like I keep telling Chris, man, we need an anthropologist. Like I'd like to get some sort of academic perspective and insight into this, just so people, they have a nice, well-rounded documentary or information that they get to chew on. And like, it just so happened we're having trouble finding somebody, and we sit down and interview Tom Carey for our documentary we're just about finished cutting, called In Plain Sight, the Intelligence Community and UFOs. And like, after we interview him for that, because he's a Roswell expert, like author 12 books on Roswell, has interviewed 600 first and secondhand witnesses to Roswell. Like the guy's just, he's insane. But so afterwards, and he's telling us all this crazy stuff, what the government is saying to these people and all this. And I'm just like, whoa, this is nuts. And then it came out that he's like a degreed anthropologist. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Tom, dude, can you sit over in this chair, change shirts, we'll swap lights, cameras, flip it around. And can we get you talking about Sasquatch and Bigfoot and what? And so it was like, it was just meant to be. And there was the last interview for that. Chris started cutting it, and we finished and got it over to the distributor, and it just came out here July 5th on Amazon, Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, PlayStation, and Microsoft, I believe. But so it's just cool. I love, man, it's just, it's great how these documentaries have all been coming together better than we could have planned or anticipated. And a lot of it is me just sitting down with these people and just letting them share their stories. Like I don't lead them or tell them what to say or anything like that. So we just hear all these interesting stories. And then Chris Rupert, who's sick this evening and couldn't be on here. So let's send some good vibes to him.
Yes.
But he's the editor then and puts it all together. And so, we find the theme and the thread for the actual documentary through all these stories. And man, I think it makes a really cool, balanced documentary.
It does. Absolutely. Now, when you sit down with somebody, do you ask them a question or you just tell them to just spew out whatever comes to their mind about their...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of general, Sue. Like, what's your experience been with Sasquatch, right?
Yeah.
And then she just kind of riffs on that and goes into her story on that. And then maybe she'll say something interesting. And when we get to like a pause, hey, could you go into this a little bit more or explain that a little bit more? And then that leads her into just talking about something else and let her go for a while. And then eventually, I got to let the cameras cool down or something like that. And so I'm like, all right, hey, let's take 5. We'll let these cameras cool down if you need water or whatever. And so then we'll stop. And then usually the subject will be like, oh, I wanted to talk about this, or I wanted to say this. Like, oh, yep, that sounds great. I love that. And that's really how a lot of these come out. Occasionally, maybe I'll think of something, or we'll mention, hey, I'm trying to think. Oh, like, say, for example, for In Plain Sight, the intelligence community and UFOs, like when I interviewed Richard Doty for that, I may have mentioned, oh, hey, we had interviewed Tom Carey, who's this Roswell expert. So when Richard came into the interview, he was speaking like some about Roswell, which worked out well that we have like some good Roswell stuff in there. But yeah, I mean, for the most part though, yep. These people are just sharing their stories. And sometimes I'll mention, oh, somebody I interviewed earlier, they had mentioned this. Do you have any opinion on that? On Bigfoot and UFOs or something like that? And I think like Randy weighed in that he said it could be a possibility, but he didn't really have much to comment on that. And interesting enough, on the one camp out for Secrets of the Sasquatch, it was one where somebody had canceled last minute, but I'm just like, I'm just going to go out anyways on my own. And went to like Centralia, which is in Pennsylvania, this abandoned town where it was this like coal town, I think. And I think it was like 60 years ago, an underground coal seam caught fire and it's been burning since. So like, after, I don't know how long it was after it caught fire, but they realized, like the ground smoldering, etc. They had to eventually like abandon the town. And it's cool. There's like these like metal smokestacks up in this wooded area that are just like pipes run down into the ground. But I guess it's to relieve some of this, pressure and heat or whatever. So I was there and it was like mid-20s. So it was freezing out, but like you put like the back of your hand to like this metal pipe and you're like, oh man, dude, that's warm. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Not like hot, but like against like, it should be ice cold in those temperatures. So yeah, I ended up going there. And then as it got to nightfall, I'm like, I'm going to go camp out in some like state forest here nearby. And as I'm setting up the tent and it's like dropping to, like 26 degrees Fahrenheit, I see like this like light come across the sky. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's not like FAA light pattern or anything like that. It's just like a continuous light. And then it like stopped and then like started like going down, paused a second, went down more. And I'm just like, whoa, what? Dude, I got my phone out. And by that time it's like down below the tree line. Couldn't see it. But it was just weird. Yeah. I had this sighting like that when I was out to, out kind of looking for Sasquatch but it was one of those things like I didn't have a whole lot of time to like commit my mind and resources to that. Like I had to get fire ring built quick and fire started or I was going to freeze.
Right.
But yeah, it was just interesting that happened. Yeah, on that camp out.
Well, and they do, people have reported seeing some kind of weird light when they're out in a forest, when they're out for Sasquatch, and they don't know if something has to do with that. I've seen other people or heard other people saying that they see a light, like they hear a knock or whatever, and then they may see a light. So I don't know if it was something to do with that, or if it was a UFO, or if they're interconnected in some way. Like Sue says, on your documentary, she was talking about how them and the Ponte are actually friends, and that they have been for many years, and are they able to travel then to the other, I'm assuming, the Star Nations?
I believe she mentions in the doc, that their bodies are well suited for right, for that type of travel. It was neat. I even liked the one point that she makes, and again, that's why I really like the doc, because it just like kind of gives you stuff to think about, in so much that she says that the Sasquatch are a more advanced civilization because they take care of all of their their peoples, all of their the others. And I was like, versus if you look around our world and just the disparity you see in poverty and wealth, and I don't need to get, but it was just a very interesting perspective that she mentioned, and I'm like, oh wow, that's just cool for me to think about. Like, oh wow, that's a neat way to look at how advanced a people's or civilization is, like on how well they take care of all of their beings. Dude, that's something cool that I should be holding in my heart and in my mind for sure.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. I find her very fascinating. Like, I just fascinated by all the stuff that she has to talk about. And it's like, it's stuff I've never heard anyone else talk about. And it's like, if she was making it up, where would she make that up from?
I agree.
Getting it from somewhere. So I still haven't followed her yet on Twitter, but I need to do that because I want to see those posts and things, because doesn't she like kind of transcribe what the Ponte are telling her onto her social media?
Correct. Yep. Correct. So her Twitter handle, or the Ponte Twitter handle is at Sandia Wisdom. So Sandia Wisdom. But yeah, she's super, super interesting. And I think it's just always neat to point out that, I think the FBI had used her in like some missing persons cases and stuff like that. So it's just, she's had a very, very interesting life. And if you like sit down with her, like, it's great when I roll over there, in so much that if she wasn't talking about Sasquatch or extraterrestrial, like, she would just be your grandma. She's like, oh, like, how are you? Like, oh, have a seat. Do you need anything to drink? Oh, I got some new tomatoes out back. Like, she's just completely down to earth. It's just cool. It's been a great experience getting to know her. And I mean, it even worked out so much that, like, for this In Plain Sight, the intelligence community and UFOs, when I was scheduling the interview with Richard Doty, like, logistically, Albuquerque, New Mexico, it was like made sense or whatever. It was easiest because Richard was going to be in town or whatever, etc. And so I was like, hey, Sue. And
oh my gosh, what happened?
What happened? We lost him.
Gotta
find him.
Did this happen last time?
Story.
Huh?
Right in the middle of the story.
I know. What the heck? Sorry for our listeners. Oh, I wonder. Oh. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can just call Tyler. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. We lost it. Try this again. Love our computer.
I don't know. You were talking and then you were gone.
Oh man, yeah, like I kept going, and then
Well, we
but
didn't
your
catch any
picture
of it.
your picture disappeared, but I just kept talking, and then when I finished the thought, I'm like, Kim, yeah, your video disappeared like 30 seconds ago, but I don't know if you're still there. And then I got this other call from you now.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, we're here. So if you remember what you were talking about, feel free to.
Man, yep, I do. Quick
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that last call recording or what? You know what I mean? Like, did you guys get that?
Yes, because we're actually on another platform. So yeah, all that was recorded. We just lost.
Perfect.
Yep. So we don't have to
Cool.
start from the beginning.
No.
Yep. No worries. I was just making sure. Like, did you guys need to check anything on your end before we move forward?
Nope. We are
Cool.
good. It was just
Okay.
Skype just decided to drop our call.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like here, I was talking about how Sue Walker, super nice, and that did the Richard Doty interview there.
Yes.
So which part did it like?
That's where it cut out. You were talking about how he was going to be in the same town, and it just kind of seemed like it
perfect.
would work, and then it went.
Perfect. Cool. All right. So we're recording now. Everything's good. I can just
you
just
can
get back into it. All
just
right.
roll with it. Go. All
right.
Go.
So that's just the type of down to earth and genuine people they are. They're just like, yeah. Sue and Otter were just like absolutely you guys can interview here. So it was great. We set it up. Like if I didn't tell you, and when you watch this next documentary, In Plain Sight, the Intelligence Community UFOs, like you wouldn't know it was in their house. You know, we've used different backdrops. You know, always set stuff up in their house, but it was just super cool, and it was just a sick experience. Like I get in there. I forget if I flew in what night it was, like Thursday or something, but I get in at like 11 due to some delays. I drive straight down to Roswell, like 3.5 hours, and sleep for 2 hours in the car, wake up to get some sick, like sunrise shots, like drone shots, and then drive like back to the highway area where it says Roswell signs and just stuff like that. Cause I'm like, I'm in the air. I got to get legit B-roll for this film of Roswell. I'm here. Yeah. Why? It's a 3.5 hour drive. And then I finished that up by like 9. You drive straight back to Albuquerque, get to like Sue's at like 12:30, rearrange some stuff super quick. I think Richard shows up at 1. Oh, bang, rock his interview over an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then leave right from there. Like at 3 to head to the airport because my flight's at like 4 or whatever, and just and like that. It was insane. But they're just super cool and so nice. And I always I like seeing them. They're good people.
Do you have to like drink a lot of energy drinks or something to like get through all that? Because I would be dragging my ass.
Man, I just try and appreciate, like, I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe I'm interviewing Richard Doty. This is crazy. Oh man, I can't believe I get to watch the sunrise at Roswell. This is crazy. Man, I can't believe I get to see Sue Walker. This is crazy. So I just try and be so like pumped and grateful that I'm even in these opportunities. So I'm like, dude, like if I start feeling tired, I'm just like, oh dude, you know what? Like, yeah, I can catch some Z's on that plane ride back or whatever. It's no big deal. And the next day, if I need to, catch up on some sleep, I can. But in the moment, I just go with it and try and have as much fun and appreciate it as much as I can. And so same deal. We've got another documentary.
Yes.
After the in-place, Ghost in the Graveyard.
Yes.
Pure Pandemonium.
Now, aren't you doing that this weekend?
Yeah, so we're camping out at a
graveyard,
haunted cemetery out in the middle of the state forest in the ghost town of Pandemonium, which is like Latin for abode of demons. So I'm just like, dude, this is crazy setup. I interviewed this author an historian on the area.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, just a lot of people met some really crazy, untimely deaths, like murder and stuff like that. And this is like going back again. This is a ghost town. I forget if it was around. I don't want to misspeak. I'll have to double check. But say like from like 1770 to 1910 or something like that, right? So it was like there for like 100 or whatever, 150 years. But then, yeah, just all came to an end. And the cemetery is cool. When I interviewed this gentleman, Marlon, there,
yes,
like the grass or the undergrowth, whatever it was, like the foliage, like wasn't very high. It was like 5-6 inches, but like the cemetery, for all intents and purposes, out in the middle of nowhere, like looked good, in good shape. And I was like, yo, yeah, like you said, you've been coming here 10, 12 years, whatever it was. How, like, yeah, this looks like in really good shape. Is it ever like in the winter, like real, like low, and then later in the summer, the growth like real high and looks crappy? He's like, man, every time I've been here, it's always this exact same height.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa, dude, that is crazy. So so I might not get a lot of sleep this weekend.
Right.
But it'll be worth it. I'll catch up on it next week, and it's going to be cool. We have some like paranormal investigators, like with equipment going with us.
Yes.
Just some adventurous people, like woodsmen. So we'll have a bunch of different point of views, and then we're going to do some cool stuff, like play Ghosts in the Graveyard. There, which will be really scary and freaky. Yes. And we're also going to I guess bring like a Ouija board, probably do light as a feather, stiff as a board, see if we can get some people to go up. And then also, because I did this interview, we have like direct spirits that we can like request or ask for, see if we can get perhaps get some activity from these specific people who were famous in that town, or just met or had an just a horrible ending to their life. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I think it's and then use the investigative equipment. So I think it's going to be really cool, and I think it's going to end up being a really sick doc that people are going to enjoy.
Cool. That'll be really cool. Yeah, I'll be excited to see that one too. Now, you said you have different points of views, so you guys are all just gonna camp out there, like literally all night? Like literally.
Yeah. So some people may go to sleep. I mean, I know when we did the Ghost of Gettysburg, that haunted camp out, like Chris and I, just the way it worked with all the individuals there and the different stuff we had to do.
Right.
Man, by the time we got everybody's interview and footage, the sun was coming up. And I'm like, yo, dang. Chris, I'm like, bro, we got to I said we need to be on the Gettysburg battlefield as the sun rises for some sick B-roll of Don Allison, like dressed up in the Civil War. Like in the Civil War outfit, like legit regalia. And so we had to haul over there. So I'm sure something similar will happen here, where between all the stuff that we're doing, man, we just might not be able to get to sleep, because there's like a dead man's curve up there and just a bunch of cool stuff. I got to fly the drone over these different areas and get that dope footage. And dude, I'm just excited. I love doing this. So, that's why. Yeah, I do like myself some caffeine though, for sure.
Sure.
But I run a lot on just like passion and love for the game. Yeah. Adrenaline, a lot of adrenaline.
Yes.
Like, dude, for Secrets of the Sasquatch, it was really neat when Eric Hubbard and Desiree Patton, when I went out on the camp out with them, and Eric has like thermal night vision camera and whatnot, and they got like a flashlight with a red lens on it, and I'm just like, yo, this looks so sick. And I'm like, yo, I need like the audience needs to be able to see how dope this looks. You guys shining this flashlight, and I'm like, I need to get out in the woods, like a perspective of like something looking at you guys from out there, maybe a Sasquatch, who knows? So I'm out there by myself, pitch black, filming this, and just the hairs on the back of my neck just standing up like, dude, I could just get snatched right out of here by a Sasquatch, and nobody would ever know.
Yep.
And so it was super creepy. Got the shot, so it looked dope. But it's just, man, so adrenaline was pumping in that experience. And I feel like I just always come into all these different situations with like nothing but good energy, positive intentions, right? Like I'm not trying to harm or ridicule or like, I don't know. I'm just not trying to do any ill will to anything I come upon. I'm just curious, and I just like to investigate this further and help others. Just expand their mind and think about things differently, because it's always good to broaden your mind. I mean, we just don't know everything. What people thought 100 years ago is, oh, dude, no, this is it. We know everything there is to know. They would be pooping their pants right now, looking around. They'd be like, what? So in another 100 years, I'm just like, dude, I don't know what it's going to be like in another 100 years. Technology has gone exponentially faster and faster and quicker. So, I'm hoping Dockside Media plays like some small part in pushing that ball forward of just people being curious. And because I think the more people that are talking about it, and investigating it and just kind of destigmatizing it and making other people comfortable to talk about a weird experience they had that they really can't explain. It's like, oh, dude, I think that helps us get to the bottom of it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And you definitely do get different perspectives when watching your guys' documentaries, and that's really awesome. So I'm super excited to watch more of them. And like I said, I still got to get the Gettysburg one, because I'm gonna get that one so Kim can watch it, because she's all about wars and history and stuff like that. We have not been there yet, so that one is another one on the bucket list to watch. So we'll have to get that one and watch it. But
you guys rock. And I think what was I going to say? Man, now I'm losing my train of thought. Darn it, man. It left me. I thought I had something good to say, but I guess not. It must not have been that great. But dude, no, I love what you guys are doing, man. You guys, oh yeah, didn't you guys, that's what I was going to ask. Didn't you guys have something that was haunted out your way or something that you were saying we should look at? I'm forgetting it now at this point.
We have a couple, there's several. I mean, I was full of haunted locations, but Villisca is a notorious one, and Malvern Manor is a really good one as well. Villisca Axe Murder House is the one where the Moore family, and then they had two girls, Ina and Lena, stay over. So there was 8 of them. I always lose track. 8 of them? 8. And they were all axed to death in their house. And they never caught the killer. There's so many different speculations on who could have done it and theories, but they have never figured out who done it to this day. And Malvern's a really good place. That's where we had a doll fly off the shelf at us, and we get all kinds of crazy stuff there all the time. That's what it was.
And it was the Malvern one I was thinking of specifically, where I remembered you telling me about that. I was like, dude, that sounds really, really crazy.
That one is, there's blood on the walls at that place yet, and it's it's a very interesting place. So
we'll be there in October.
We'll be there in October. We're there quite a bit, so
I love it. You guys are the best, man. I love your guys' passion and energy. Let me ask you a question. So where do you fall on the Sasquatch spectrum as far as, have you always thought, possibility, most likely, like, for example, me, just what were your thoughts? I don't want to.
Yeah, nope, you're fine. I don't believe that it's not impossible for there to be Sasquatch or, other life forms out there that we don't know about. It's something that I've been very interested in many years in going out to do. It's just I want to find somebody around here to go with first, so I'm not just going out in the middle of a freaking forest or timber that I don't know anything about by myself. Like to get somebody who knows a little bit about it before I try to do that. But that is something I have been thinking about a lot since I got into the paranormal. And I've always been into UFOs ever since I was little. Like, always
Gotcha.
been into that. So that's another thing. But yeah, Jim?
Dude.
I've always been interested in UFOs because I'm always laying out in the yard looking up in the sky and stuff. But
Yeah.
Till I see one, I think I'm like ghost hunting. I'm
Yeah.
a skeptic
Yeah.
until I find
There you go.
something.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
For sure. For sure. I feel like, prior to starting Dockside Media, like 11 months ago, I would have said, dude, I feel like there's a good chance some like bipedal hominid
Yeah.
had survived like undetected in the woods for a long time. And some people, just happen to get sightings of it. I mean, I've hunted for like 20 years. Yeah, just never got anything.
Yeah.
And dude, I've done so many podcasts before I go into did I do this story earlier about hunting and
No.
hunting? I did not.
No.
I didn't think so, but I didn't want to on your broadcast just because, like, we've been just doing all these podcasts. I had one just in like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, you've been on a
I'm like,
roll.
man, hold on. Wait, did I share this yet? I can't remember if I did. I don't think so because we had the break in the call. I don't think I got to, but
yeah.
All right. So here we are. So before I would have thought, they could just be some like, large ape-like creature, bipedal hominid that survived undetected for all these years, because I've hunted for 20 years, never got anything, right? And I've like sat out in the woods from before sun up till after sundown, specifically looking for deer. And dude, deer have the senses to just stay out of my sight, out of my range. Like they do. It's not like they're not out there. They are. And the ones that I've seen, like typically, it's just like real quick, and but regardless. So I understand that the animal kingdom is a wild thing and we're discovering new species, every year, every week, every month, whatever it is, like all the time. So, but it's neat. The more that after starting Dockside Media and the more I investigate and I'm curious and look into these paranormal and UFO phenomenon, I'm certainly much more open to the possibility of like Bigfoot, Sasquatch being like interdimensional, extraterrestrial. It would it explains a lot. Would account for some things. It was neat. I was on the Pursuit of the Paranormal podcast, which are out of the UK, and was asking them about sightings over there. Do they have any? And they said occasionally there are some, which is kind of odd because it's just densely populated and not a lot of just like uninhabited, like large wooded areas. And so I'm like, but after watching the doc, and I think they had a conversation a week or two ago, so it was like a synchronicity that the doc brought it up, but they were like, wow, that is kind of neat. Right. Looking at it from that angle, it would explain why people could see them here, or maybe, I don't know, I'd have to look into like reportings in Iowa, but in like, like in a non heavily wooded area, if it's more like plains or fielded, it's like, oh dude, if they're interdimensional or something like that, that would explain it. Certainly like Yeti and things just all over the world. So it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. And I love, one of the things I like about the docs is just like the hunters that were interviewed, I could just tell are all full-blooded woodsmen. Like that's what they do. Like if they say, oh dude, I heard a raccoon. Oh, I heard a fox. Oh, I saw a squirrel. Oh, I saw a bear. Oh, I saw, like, dude, I would be inclined to defer to them. Like they're just hard people. Like Randy, when I'm out camping with him,
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lit fire. I mean, it's 26 degrees on that camp out too. It was like always freezing on all these camp outs. I don't know why,
I
but they were all coming up. Yeah, it was crazy. But so Randy's the type of guy where like the logs in the fire need to be arranged, and he's just picking them up with his bare hands. Like they're on, like they're lit logs. Like I'm like, but what are you doing? And like he's to pass time as we're like waiting to do knocks and get reply and like listen for Sasquatch or maybe get a sighting because we're on the land where he's had these encounters. Yeah, he's just like fishing. Like it's freezing cold, no gloves on, handling all this wet gear. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's crazy. Like one, yeah, I would just be I'm compelled to believe Randy if he says that like he saw a Sasquatch. I would find that that he would probably know better than me citing something in the woods. And it was really cool too. I love that he says, and I think it's in the trailer, but it's like I always said, like if I ever saw a Sasquatch, I'd run right at it, but I just couldn't move. Right? He just stood there, and it's like, oh, dude, that's really cool too. Like just based on my interactions with Randy in the woods, I'm like, oh, dude, I would put money on Randy if like he would have said he would run at it, that he would. And so, yeah, was there some extra like telepathic control or thought like that just kept him still, or what else was there, or just this like primordial like instinct to survive? I don't know, but it was neat that was his experience given the type of guy that he was. And same with Alfred Martinez and Tom Nutter. It's like, oh dude, these guys, there's just some people who I don't know if it was their DNA, ancestors and like reincarnation. I don't know what it is, but there's just some people who have like those spatial skills and survival skills where like you drop them like, oh dude, which way back to the highway? Oh dude, it's straight that way. Or and they dude, oh we need to get a fire. Oh, we need to find more. Like they know those things almost instinctually. It's crazy.
Right.
So yeah, they make for compelling stories in the doc.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of hunters too, they know the sounds of the animals that are out there. So they'd be able to tell you, I would feel more inclined if they said, hey, I heard this and this didn't sound like anything that I've ever heard out here as well. Because, a lot of them do know the different sounds of the animals out there. So yeah, I'd be more inclined to believe one of them over somebody else probably. Just because they're out there all the time and they know those things. But
yeah, they're interesting people. That's just kind of their gift or their craft or whatever you want to say. Like there's just some people that's where their calling is. And yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing all the differentiations they can make between like little sounds and like birds and like they can just ID all that stuff. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, that was that's just really neat. That's not the way my brain is wired, but you know what? There's probably some stuff that like I'm real interested in and passionate about that they would just look at and be like, oh dude, I can't do that, or I couldn't learn that. And it's like, oh dude, I don't know. I bet if we reversed roles and really, really, really applied ourselves, maybe we could.
Right.
But I don't know. I've spent enough. Like, here's the thing. I spent enough time in the woods and like, done these camp outs, some alone, where it's like, oh, dude, I guess like I'm proficient. I can survive. I'm taking like a box of Little Debbie's with me. You know what I mean? Like that's, I'm just like, oh, dude, that's plenty of calories. I'm good. Like, I'll just take this. That's light. But yeah, dude. So, but I'm just, these people are on a whole nother level, but it's cool that, the more you do something, the better you can get at it. And now I do feel comfortable going on these camp outs and be like, oh, dude, now, especially after doing that one by myself and at like 1 a.m., dude, I'm like just about to fall asleep. And like, I hear these like two people talking like real loud. Like this one person's talking. I'm like not too far away. I'm like, undo this like the zipper of the tent, fly out, grab the little tiny knife I have on my hip. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be a sitting duck. Like I'm going down with the fight if anybody's coming at me right now. And dude, I don't know, heart raced for like 10 minutes, nothing, nobody, no more talking. I have no idea what it was,
Oh.
but it was a cool lesson in that, oh, dude, if I could survive that night by myself, then, any of these ones where there's somebody else with me, it's just like, dude, I'm totally at ease if there's at least one other person there. Even for that one out in the woods, it like the human mind it's just an interesting thing. I felt like I remember having the thought when I was out there, like, oh man, if my 8-year-old son was out here camping with me, I would be fine. Because I'd have to be like, bro, it's nothing. We're cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just that idea of being completely alone in the middle of nowhere, it's interesting. Like as I'm like gathering like stones and firewood, you know, like my jacket, like a branch like catches on my jacket. I'm like, you know, like, oh my, like, because like I hiked in like in the middle of like, it was like, I don't know, 6:30 or whatever, but it was like already dark, sun had set. It was like winter time. And it was just, so I'm just like in the middle of nowhere in the pitch black. And when stuff, you know, when limbs would hit you or whatever, it's like, oh, dude,
got that
so creepy
going.
Oh yeah.
Now, have you ever? Okay, so when you go out on these campouts, do you ever film yourself to like see? Because you know, like if you do these paranormal ones, if you're there by yourself, do you ever film yourself to see if you catch anything?
That's a good question, and we haven't yet, only because I guess we're trying to, for Dockside Media, we'd like for other people to share their stories.
Right.
And that way it's just kind of unbiased. Like we're just not bringing anything into it. It's like, oh, dude, these are these stories. It's neat how they all interweave.
Right.
And hopefully, you find some like value and interesting thoughts, and stuff to think about right afterwards. So we haven't been in any, and we haven't gotten footage like that really, but not sure for this, for the Ghost in the Graveyard Pure Pandemonium. I'm not sure. We may be in it, and I don't want to let too much out, but I'll tell you and your listeners, because you guys are balling.
Okay.
Nobody else knows about this. Nobody else. But here's what's up. I'm like, dude, it might be cool to have some front end setup of us, Chris Rupert, and myself, Tyler Transue, discussing what we're going to do, and not make it a big part of the film, but just a little bit, so we can drop some nuggets and whatnot to let the viewer know what to expect. And explain like why we're going out there, and then also splice in this Marlin gentleman's interview with all the history and neat, fascinating facts that he found, and the people that met these crazy demises. But so I'm not sure. We may be in it. We may not. We're like, we might film it and then end up saying, you know what, dude, we'll just cut it a different way. We don't need to be in it. But we love doing these podcasts. We love, having fun talking about these films and investigating these things. But I don't know. Appreciate you mentioning that and speaking it into the universe, because we might end up being in one of these coming up. We'll see.
Okay, we'll watch and see what happens.
I just got to thinking of something.
What?
I used to deer hunt.
Oh yeah.
I was always out there 2 hours before it got light. What if I would have ran into a Bigfoot out there on my tree stand?
Yeah.
I would have been up in the air.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I couldn't run.
Oh yeah.
You could just jump on it.
You would have. That wouldn't have been a good situation. It is. I'm right there with you, Kim, as far as that is an interesting feeling, sitting in the woods 2 hours before daylight, all quiet, right?
Yep,
dark.
All by
yourself. And it's just, and then to hear the woods slowly wake up, and then, like a squirrel running or like scampering can sound like a massive buck coming or like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting time to be alone in the woods as it comes to life, for sure.
Especially when you're deer hunting and your adrenaline's already going and you see these rabbits run underneath your tree stand and they sound like a deer coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep. Oh, I know. There's nothing. Oh, yeah, that is a crazy adrenaline rush. Just, it's interesting. And it probably goes back to, right, not so many years ago. Like, dude, that's how everybody was relying on food, like hunting.
Right, yeah.
And being quiet and being up early and walking, quietly stalking, right? Some wild animal with senses like far greater than you. Like,
Right.
yeah, it wasn't too long ago we were doing that. Now we're on Skype calls, dropping podcasts.
That's right.
And dude, yeah, another 100 years, the stuff, like our grandkids, they'll be like, yo, you were savages. They'll say you guys were absolute like, how did you guys live like that? What were you thinking?
Exactly.
You couldn't teleport from here to Mars? Dude, you just hop in this little thing and press this button, or point this thing at you and press this button, and then you go. That's all you do. Like, oh yeah, no, I feel you, but we didn't have all the back end technology to manipulate space-time like you do now. But it's like, eventually I feel like it's going to happen. It's not a matter of like if, it's just when.
Exactly. This is kind of rolling off something else, but I was thinking about earlier how you were talking about how you wanted to you were going to do a little bit more. I mean, you do the UFOs and the paranormal, but you were trying to broaden your thing. Have you ever thought about doing like near-death experiences?
Girl, yeah, you're speaking my language. We have, I think the one that's probably gonna start filming after Goes to the Graveyard Pure Pandemonium is In a Past Life, which is, we're gonna interview people that feel they've been that they've been reincarnated, and do some like past life regression, hypnotherapy, and that kind of stuff. And then I think there's this like doctor of whatever, I think at the University of Virginia or something like that, who's authored books and studied this like reincarnation. And so I'll get an interview with him, hopefully, and it'll be a really, really sick doc.
Awesome. That'll be awesome.
Yep. So that'll be coming up here this year. And then I feel like remote viewing. I think we're going to do one on that. Man, let's try and manifest it and speak it into existence. Like I feel, I know Richard Doty has some stuff to say on remote viewing. So I'd like to get another interview with him on that. And I feel like, I think he knows how put off or whatever. Like I wouldn't mind being able to get an interview with him. Not saying it'll be easy, but doesn't hurt to ask.
That's right.
And so that's what I'm trying to manifest, and we'll find, hopefully some participants or whatever that were in the program and can interview them and make a really cool remote viewing doc. I think that'd be really, really interesting.
It would be, it would be very awesome. We've had quite a few guests on that have talked about it, and it's pretty interesting to listen to and compelling. So, no, it's pretty wild. I was researching a little bit more because Dockside Media, we're also dropping these little things called 1 minute mysteries. They're like 1 to 2 minute mysteries and just videos explaining different cool mysteries that happen, like whether it was like Mothman or Operation Northwoods or like JP Morgan and the Titanic, and maybe some possible involvement there in the federal bankers. So we make these short things. But what was, so through doing one of those, I was reading some cool documents on that remote viewing and just like the people or the person, the expert or whatever, the independent expert
who was like reporting to Congress or whatever on whether they not like it was viable. And they were saying like, yeah, like the odds of this being chance, it was like, I don't know if it was like 1 times 10 to the 30th power, but something like, you know, like that's like 1 in, I don't know, 100 Google or something, like whatever. 10 to the 30th power is like really, really, really big. So it was yeah, it's just fascinating that, yeah, a lot of these people that, yeah, and even told Congress like, oh dude, yeah, there seems to be, yes, something behind this where these results are whatever, they give the statistical significance, et cetera. And it's like, dude, it's better than the coin flip or 25, you know, something we can't explain this. And like crazy instances where like sometimes I feel like, and I forget what the double blind and triple blind experiment was, but somehow like the subject or the participant, the remote viewer, like saw the future, right? Like somehow the way like the question was asked to them later and everybody was kept set, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, oh my gosh, dude, how did they know that before we asked the question? And it was all like, so yeah, that's just a really cool subject too. So that's what Dockside Media is about, baby. We're diving in head first into all these cool things that the government was spending money on researching, and just stuff, for people to think, because like, here's what's up. Who's to say, just that power of positive thought and these things like doesn't help create your reality. Like Tom DeLonge was just on the Steve-O podcast here like a couple days ago, and he was talking about that, you know, time is not linear, and that, you know, the past, present, and future are all existing right now, but at different frequencies. And I'm like, wait, what? Dude, that is so far out. But I can't help but think, well, dude, it is kind of wild how it explains how like Chris, Rupert, and I, like Dockside Media, got to having 3 documentaries out. Our 4th's coming out. We're filming our 5th. We're doing our 6th set. Like, when we started back in August of last year, like 11 months ago, I was just like, and we got that first footage of Anjali at the press conference. I'm just like, dude, we're getting this picked up for distribution. We're doing like 6 of these a year. And man, I feel like, like it's going to work out. Like we're going to just make some really good documentaries and get these in front of people, and they're going to really enjoy them and have stuff to think about and talk about. And so it's crazy how I could like see that and feel that way back then. So it's like, oh, dude, well, maybe this moment here had already existed back then. And I could just feel this moment of like, bro, the 3rd documentary is coming, like, just keep going. And and you'll keep growing and hopefully like reaching people and affecting some positive momentum in all these cool topics. And get them hopefully studied like more scientifically and accepted more and talked about more. And I just love this whole thing, man. And so, dude, that's just crazy about the whole past, present, future all at once at different frequencies. Some trippy stuff.
It is very trippy. And I can't wait to see what's in the future for you guys. And I want all of our listeners to make sure you guys check out Tyler and Chris at Dockside Media. You can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Twitter, you got docksidemedia.com. You have YouTube too, right? Do you have YouTube?
We're on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We've been getting some dope. We had like a viral video go like 107.5 thousand views.
Oh, nice.
On me in an ET costume getting Chris's daughter off the bus. Like we were there shooting the I was at Chris's house in the studio shooting B-roll for In Plain Sight, the intelligence community UFOs of like an alien. And he's just like, oh, my daughter's getting home at 12:30. I'm like, well, bro, we can't pass up this opportunity. we definitely need to. I definitely need to be in this costume when she gets off that bus. And so she was, and yeah, it was just right place, right time, and it was super dope. 107,000.5 views. So I'm like, bro, that's 107.5 thousand people who like on their consciousness or subconsciousness is Dockside Media. Somewhere inside those people is Dockside Media now. And this is how we grow our brand, dude, is we just keep going, man, and thinking good thoughts and believing like, dude, we can do this, man. We can definitely do this.
Yep.
And it hasn't failed us yet. So thank you so much
wood.
for having us on. I love what you, Allison, and what Kim are doing. I mean, you guys are just so great. Chris, when he was saying, when I'm like, bro, are you sure you can't make it? I was like, man, we were just on here, like, I don't know, a little over a month ago. They were the ones that were just super down to earth. And he's like, yeah, is that the one where the one girl wasn't on screen, right? But she was talking and real engaging. I was like, yes, dude. And he's like, oh, I love that podcast. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad that I can't make it because I'm sick. But you guys rock. You're near and dear to Dockside Media's heart.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it, and we love what you guys are doing, and we'll try to push out the good news about your guys' documentaries and everything as much as we can. And make sure you guys, everybody, go check out their latest documentary, Secrets of the Sasquatch, and that's available on Microsoft, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. Anything else that I'm missing? Is there any other ones?
I think that's, PlayStation.
PlayStation.
I think that might be it. Yeah.
Yep.
Apple TV, something like that.
Yes. So make sure you go check it out. It's awesome. Go check out the other ones. And then make sure you check out them on social media so you can stay up to date on their upcoming documentaries as well. And I hope you guys have an awesome time this weekend. And I hope Chris is feeling up to par to be able to take part in this. So
I'm thinking good thoughts for him. I'm like, bro, here's what's up. We'll cross that bridge Saturday morning when we get to it. Until then, you take care of yourself, get some rest, fluids, and Saturday morning, we'll figure it out and we'll go from there. So thanks for the good vibes. We appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody, thank you for listening tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, we'll have Andrew Aloha on talking about his book. It's called Andrew Aloha's Paranormal. Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. It's experiences. I couldn't think of the word. I'm like, I wanted to say extraterrestrials, and I knew that wasn't right.
Man. All right. Well, I'm stealing that title, Paranormal Extraterrestrials. I'm taking.
There you
go. But his book again is called Paranormal Experiences.
Andrew Aloha's Paranormal Experiences. Yep. So he will be on talking about that. He's also a medium, so he'll be talking about that as well. So everybody tune into that. And once again, thank you, Tyler, for being on. It's always a pleasure. So you guys are welcome anytime. So just hound me whenever.
Yo, you rock so much. Please believe. Check your inbox. We'll be sending you more docs. We'll keep them coming.
All right.
And dude, I'm just so glad that I can say I have friends in Iowa now. You guys are good peoples.
You do.
You really are.
Anytime you guys come, let us know.
I most certainly will.
We will give you all the deets on where to go. So
that's me fist pumping for all them listening at home, baby.
I will get you some hookups. I got hookups.
Sounds good.
Let me know. All right. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody.